Shakura Saida.
Yes.
Welcome again in Belgium.
Thank you.
You did a great show. You impressed all.
I have to look at him, he's talking to me.
Yeah, I think you have today impressed a lot of people here in Belgium.
Thank you.
And like you said, it's not your first time. A few years ago you were in Peer on the Belgian Rhythm and Blues Festival. But here in Wespelaar, it's a 35 years of free festival for the people.
It's crazy.
Unbelievable.
It's crazy.
And it's great to have you here.
Thank you. But no chocolate.
Yeah, no chocolate. Like you said, you are from Toronto, Canada. I think the biggest city in Canada.
We like to think so. We claim that, yes,
Yeah.
it's very big.
But how does it feel to be Canadian? Is it special?
I'm not Canadian.
Oh.
I'm American Swiss. I was born in New York, but I claim Canada as my home because it is one of the best places to live. It's one of the best places to raise my children, and it's been a wonderful place to be a vocalist in. The support that we get from our government, from our arts councils, and from our audiences is huge. So it feels great to be representing Canada in Belgium, and to know that even after the pandemic, we're still accepted and loved in a really beautiful way, and to bring other Canadian musicians here and to have them be loved, that is perfect for me.
But it's not only Belgium that you're performing. You were in Spain.
Yes.
You come from Spain to Belgium. That's
No. I did Mallorca, I did Bilbao,
Oh.
and then I did Norway, Metoden Festival. Then I went home for 10 days, and then last night I was in... You want me to do that again?
interesting.
I did Mallorca, Bilbao, and Metoden Festival. Then I went home for 10 days. And then I came back and I did La Charité last night, Festival Blues de Loire, and today I'm in Belgium. And then tomorrow I go back to France.
So you're American Swiss.
I'm American Swiss.
Why all these moves? Why didn't you stay in just one place?
I think you're judging me for my parents' choices. My parents, I was little, so I went wherever my parents went. My father's Swiss, my mother's American.
Yeah.
And we lived in Canada, and we lived in Switzerland, and then back to Canada, and decided that was a good place for us to be.
Did all these places determine you as being an artist, a musician?
I think what living in different places did was it gave me a perspective that I wouldn't have gotten if I stayed in New York or stayed in the States. Because I was always the only American kid, or the only black kid, or the only non-Swiss kid, I learned how to adapt. I learned to listen and to absorb what was around me, and then alter myself to fit in. And that's definitely something that's helped me as an artist, because I've been able to listen to what's happening, to what the zeitgeist is, and then adapt to it. And it's made it easier for me in this world of blues and folk and roots to move around and to sort of determine where I want to be as an artist.
But today you were the singer-songwriter, the performer on stage, but that's not the only thing that you do. You're also an actress.
I am.
And a human rights activist.
Yeah.
Is that a thing that is in your heart, or that is important for you?
Acting is important to me.
Yeah.
Acting was always important. I was an actor before I was a singer. And in terms of being an activist, my mother was an activist. She was a civil rights activist in the 60s. It's important to me to make sure that we look after each other. It's important for me to make sure that whatever I have, other people have as well. I don't know if that makes me a human rights activist. I think it makes me part of the bigger community.
Oh, yeah.
And I think as a community, we're supposed to look after each other.
Yeah.
That's important to me.
Yeah, okay. How would you describe yourself as a singer, a songwriter? What is your style? What are your examples, people that you look upon?
My examples are based on people who are entertainers.
Yeah.
I think more than anything I'm an entertainer. I definitely think that I'm a singer-songwriter. I definitely think that I'm a vocalist. I don't think that I'm the best vocalist out there, but I do think that I'm a storyteller. And Betty Levette said that I am an interpreter of music, and that I need to own that. And so I've learned how to take that seriously. I think that in terms of who I identify with, Etta James, Shirley MacLaine, Patti LaBelle,
Nina Simone,
Nina Simone, Diana Ross, my people that I think of as my own, Otis Redding. It goes all over, and it has to do with how people connect to them. I always want to be someone that the audience can touch, not just physically, but mentally, musically. We should be on the same level. It shouldn't be me here and them here, or vice versa. We need to be on the same level. We need to be singing the same tunes. That's really important.
Something about the Nina Simone tribute. Was that a kind of a statement, or just that you find that very important?
It was an experiment. Many years ago, I was asked to do a Nina Simone tribute by one of Toronto's leading jazz supporters, Sybil Walker, and she asked me to do this tribute, and then we didn't get all the music prepared, but I wanted to do all the songs, so I sang some of the songs with the musicians, but then other songs they played, and I just spoke the words. And this was very interesting to me, because I started really listening to her music this way. I'd never really listened just to the words. So then I thought about, what can I do with this? And I have these friends, mentors, Jackie Richardson in Toronto. She has been my mentor for over 30 years. And Kelly Lee Evans, who is just one of the best voices in Canada, and loved in France. And I wanted to create a project that I could do with them so that I could hear them sing every night. And I thought, we all do Nina Simone songs, but Jackie is my elder. She's in her 70s. Kelly Lee is 10 years younger than me. Our experiences of music are very, very different. What would happen if we were together? What would happen if we were singing these songs together? That's how I started writing it. Not so much as a tribute, but as a interpretation of who Nina is to us. But then what happened was I started thinking about her life as a civil rights activist, about her life as a fighter, and not just of human rights, but of her rights as a classical musician, and not being able to express herself. And out of that came this piece that was civil rights and classical and jazz and blues and folk, because Nina wasn't any of those things. She was all of that, and she was the supreme interpreter of music. So it's not a tribute. It is I don't know, it's a living of her life. It's an understanding of what makes Nina Nina.
So special,
it is her words, whether she wrote them or whether she borrowed them from someone else. It is her musicality. She was a composer, she was an arranger, she was an interpreter of all of this music. And she was a band leader, you know, and she was a civil rights activist. All of those things, how does that impact me as a black woman? How does that influence me as a songwriter? How does that influence me as a collective, you know, with other women? That's all very, very important. So when we perform it, and I performed it with different women, it's always a little bit different, because every woman brings their history into it and their understanding of who Nina is to them. And so it's incredibly important that for me to keep doing it, because every time I do it, it's good, it's the same, but it's different.
Okay. In 2020, there was the release of your latest album, Hold On To Love. Is that correct?
In 2022.
It was exactly, I think, 10 years after time.
2022.
Okay,
Which is
then 12 years.
Yes. So in
It
2022 was the release of
Hold
my
On.
new album, Hold On to Love, and it was exactly 10 years and 6 months after the release of Time.
Yeah.
Yes.
Why took it so long that...
Are you judging me?
No, I know that you're a very busy woman, but to go to... you don't find time for the studio, I think.
You know, I have to say that from 2008 until probably 2017, I was running. You know, the IBCs came, then I had the tour with Roof Caravan, then all of a sudden I'm with Roof Records, then all of a sudden I'm making an album on my own. It's a double album, and I'm touring. It's been 30 countries from 2008 until 2020. 30 countries. To me, I can't even think about, I have to write it down and go, oh, I went to this place and this place. I didn't have time to be creative because I was always trying to catch everything before it fell to the ground. I was always trying to get everything before people forgot about me, you know, because you have to keep going. And then in 2017, I took a break. I went to Martinique for a month. I got a grant with the Toronto Arts Council, and I wrote for a month. I would write lyrics on these big sheets of paper, and I'd tape them to the walls of my room. And every day I would go down to the beach, and I'd swim, and I'd eat a sandwich, and then I'd play pétanque with all of the people there, the French people, and then I would go home, and I'd look at the lyrics, and I'd rewrite. And then I would call Donna Grantis on FaceTime, and we would talk about how to arrange the music. Then I came back, and I drove to Minneapolis for 17 hours, and we spent 3 days together, and we fixed the songs.
Yeah.
And that fall, I brought the band together, and we recorded about 5 songs. And then my life changed. I had a family member with a terminal illness. I had another family member with a very long-term illness. I had to move out of my home, my family home. And then just when I was getting my life back together, COVID hit. So it seems like a long time.
But okay, yes. When you hear all these details, make it clear.
Yeah. And during COVID, I didn't want to do any music. I didn't want to do anything. I wanted to walk my dog.
You did the album with a few famous guys.
A few.
Eric Gales.
Yes, my big brother, my little brother.
Yeah, Lee Oscar, Terry Lightfoot, Kelly Chardonnay.
Yes.
But you are working on, I dare to ask you, the new album, or you have new ideas in your head, or that you're working with?
I do.
Yeah.
I do. The next album, I'm really excited, but I'm not going to tell you
I'm
what
not.
it is.
I don't want to press you, but.
But it's weird because this album is not my COVID album. You know, everybody had a COVID album. Everybody was, they're writing all this stuff.
Yeah, they had the time during COVID to write things.
No, I worked with, did you guys have air fryers over here in Belgium? Did you have air fryers? I worked with my air fryer. I spent a lot of time, I am really good with an air fryer now. And I walked my dog. I didn't write music. I got together with other women and we talked about music and about life and everything. And then COVID was done. And I started thinking about, now for over 10 years, I'm doing blues. I'm doing the blues that everybody else wanted me to do. This album for me is more roots than blues.
Yeah.
It was very important to me to do this. My next album is going to be even more of who I was and how I came to be. And that's very exciting for me. And I've been
more roots than blues.
I mean, I know, but I'm not telling you.
Okay, no problem. We can wait.
Maybe I changed my mind.
We can wait, no problem.
I always say, what's in the name? You have to like the music. You have to get the music into you. That's all.
You have to feel the music. This album for me, 2 of the songs in the album, Hold On to Love and Glad for Today, Donna and I wrote for Brown Sugar in 2009. And Thomas Roof said, it's not rocky enough. It's too soul. So we didn't put them on the album. And they're now two of my most favorite songs to do and two of my most favorite songs on the album. So I think that's really interesting how songs from, you know, how long ago is that? 12 years ago, 13 years ago, can become the songs that you love the most.
You got in your career many awards. There was the IBC that you were in, but also a Juno Award, Maple Awards. How important are they being awarded? How important is that to get an award or recognition, to say it more general?
How important is it for me as an artist to get an award, or how important is it for me as me, Shakura, to get an award?
As you. I think as an artist, okay, you can have a good record, but I think it's more than the record. It's more the artist, I think.
For me as Shakura, being nominated for awards is important because it's validating.
Yeah.
Winning the award isn't as important as being nominated for me as Shakura.
Yeah.
For me as Shakura Saida, it's very important to win.
I understand that.
because it's a different, it puts you at a different level. But for Shakura, to wait 10 years and put out an album that you like and that you don't know if you're going to fit with everybody else, and it gets nominated for a Juno Award, or now it's been nominated for a Ontario Folk Music Award for Album of the Year. This for me is overwhelming. It means that I still can trust my heart. I can still trust my head, and I can still trust my stomach to know what is right for me.
We have still time for some questions to finish. The first one is, every life is short. Are there still open items in your I want to do list, on your bucket list, or name it whatever you want? It's things that you...
Things that I want to do?
Yeah, still want to do.
Yeah, there's a lot.
A lot, yeah. You have always think...
But I've done everything that I might have told you before.
Yeah.
I've done almost everything except go to Japan. I said I wanted to work with Kebmo, I did that. I said I wanted to tour Europe, I did that. I said I wanted a record deal, I did that. Everything I've done. But now, there's a few more things I want to do.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think that's very important, to have some things in your head that you once I will do that.
So.
Okay, what was the best advice that somebody ever gave you? Or an advice that you say that I always will remember?
I think I've been really fortunate to get really great advice from great women. Jackie Richardson told me never to compete with other women or with anyone on stage. You are your own person and you carry your own power. If you compete, it brings you to a lower level. So I never think of anyone as competition. I only think of it as we're going to get on the stage and we're going to do the best we can. Betty Levette told me to be authentic. She didn't say it in those words. She said it very differently, and I'm not going to repeat what she said. But she basically told me to always be authentic. And it was then that I realized that I wasn't being authentic. I was thinking while I was on stage. I was thinking about, I got to make sure the band eats when we're done. Oh my God, I got to run over there and make sure I have enough CDs. I hope the audience likes this. What's happening in this song? Oh, what was that bad note? I was always thinking. Now on stage, if you ask me what happened,
I don't know.
I don't know. I have fun.
That's a good answer.
I'm going to remember some things that we didn't do right later on, but right now, we have fun. We had a good time.
Okay, to finish, do you think that you are changed by being a musician, by being an artist, as a person?
I think that I am changed by the world around me. I think that through those changes, I become a better artist. I think that as a black woman, the changes that have happened in the past 3 years have changed me dramatically. I think that as a 59-year-old black woman, the changes that I've gone through have really altered my artistry. I'm a lot more sure. I'm a lot more confident. Not necessarily that I am the best, but that I am the best that I can be, and that whatever I do is enough. It may not be to your liking, it may not be something that you really want to hear, but it is enough because it is the best that I can do and it is my heart. So those changes have definitely changed me as an artist.
So thank you. That were my questions. You're correctly in time
Now can I
frame.
ask you questions?
Okay, no problem.
I want to ask you questions.
Yeah,
now.
maybe you can do it after the Shakura. Thank you again for